The tale commences with thunderous explosions emanating from a shattered building, its fragments scattered far and wide. Amidst the chaos, a fire spread rapidly as a man wielding a fiery sword dashed forward. With a mighty swing and a shout of "meteor smash," he unleashed his attack, causing further destruction. Buildings crumbled, some already engulfed in flames that continued to burn fiercely. As the man launched his assault, he was suddenly perplexed to find his sword halted, unsure of what had transpired. At that instant, the individual who had thwarted his attack emerged, brandishing a green sword. He inquired if that was the extent of Jihan Yu's capabilities and addressed him by name. The tension between the two escalated as Jihan Yu gritted his teeth and clenched his jaw. Sweat glistened on his face, revealing the effectiveness of the other man's provocation. The green-sworded adversary declared that if Jihan Yu had nothing more to offer, it was his turn to strike. Focusing intently on Jihan Yu, he began swinging his sword, slashing at Jihan Yu's body. Throughout the onslaught, his face and eyes remained devoid of emotion. This is the tale of the mightiest hero, cast out from his party. One fateful day, countless plants and animals on Earth transformed into monsters, while invaders from another world attacked creatures capable of destroying everything on the planet. The world plunged into chaos, with incessant bombing and destruction of buildings. The events led to immense devastation across the globe. A helpless man found himself stranded, yearning for salvation from the monster poised to attack him. The beastly creature growled menacingly, ready to devour the defenseless individual. However, the monster was abruptly struck by an attack from an unknown hero. To counter the threat, humanity formed a group of heroes endowed with extraordinary powers. In their hour of need, a group of individuals with distinct auras emerged. These valiant souls were known as the Guild. Meanwhile, a colossal monster appeared, letting out a fearsome howl. It was the field boss goat, Taurus. The beast swung its massive weapon at the group of heroes, aiming to strike them down. The monster's attack was momentarily halted by a man who whined and cursed about the creature's formidable strength. The man, a tanker from Cairo's guild named Junho, held his shield firmly, withstanding the onslaught of the goat Taurus. Both combatants displayed immense power, locked in and seemingly endless clash. However, Junho ultimately concluded that the goat Taurus was an unstoppable force. On another part of the battlefield, a bespectacled man named Jihan, known as the supporter of Cairo's guild, found himself surrounded by enemies. Jihan promptly issued orders to his allies, signaling them to commence their attack. A girl shouted back, acknowledging his command. She appeared, grasping her sword with both hands, facing the back of the monster. The creature seemed to sense her presence and began to growl. The girl, burning with determination, unleashed a thunderous cry behind the monster. As she screamed "Thunder," the power of her sword erupted, scattering and targeting the monster directly. The sword's might was immense, causing the monster to scream in agony as the thunderous energy engulfed its entire body. The girl's attack resulted in a resounding impact, scattering small pieces across the area. After launching her assault, the girl landed on the ground and questioned the goat Taurus about the shocking nature of her attack. The wielder of the burning thunder was Yon, the mage of Cairo's guild. Yon remarked that even after being struck by her concentrated mana attack, burning thunder, she halted upon hearing the goat Taurus howl. She was astonished to see the monster rise to its feet, and she froze in shock as it prepared to slice her. Fortunately, Jihan swiftly intervened, leaning forward to protect Yon and deflecting the monster's attack. As the girl regained her composure after the surprise attack, she gazed at him and called out Jihan's name, noting his focus on anticipating the monster's next move. A cyan-colored man appeared, declaring that they had bought some time with their efforts. A girl with a yellow aura, Lemia, the main dealer of Cairo's guild, entered the fray. Lemia swiftly sprinted towards the goat Taurus, unleashing her attack known as Rapid Slash. Her knife sliced and cut through various parts of the monster's body, causing it to fall to its knees in pain. The goat Taurus growled, preparing to retaliate against the girl. Mia, aware of the creature's presence, simply pointed her hand upward. Hyant's back came into view, his sword ablaze with fire as he descended from above, striking the monster with his signature move, Meteor Smash. The sheer power of his fiery sword exploded, engulfing the goat Taurus. Hyant, a member of Cairo's guild, had joined the fray. After defeating the goat Taurus, Hyant declared that the dungeon posed no challenge, and their party consistently maintained the top rank. He proclaimed the boss battle complete. Jihan observed his allies engaged in friendly chatter following their successful elimination of the boss, the goat Taurus. As one of the founding members who established the Kim Hyant party, Jihan took pride in their team's accomplishments. However, that day marked a turning point, shattering the tranquility. Hyant, the leader, and Jihan, the supporter, were two key members of Cairo's guild. Hyant summoned Yu Jihan, crouching in his seat and delivering a shocking announcement. Yu Jihan was expelled from the party. Jihan, taken aback by the leader's decision, sought confirmation. Rain began to fall, as if sympathizing with Jihan's plight. He walked through the downpour, clutching his bag and checking his bank statements on his phone. Jihan was crestfallen, realizing that after slaving away like a dog for 7 years, his reward amounted to a mere 10 million won. Lost in thought, he recalled the harsh words uttered by his former guild members. Young Ho questioned Jihan's contributions, while Si-Yun mocked his skills, comparing him to a novice and claiming that with minimal training, they could replicate his abilities. Lai Mai implied that Yu Jihan was weak, and their leader dealt the final blow, stating that Jihan had outlived his usefulness to the party and unceremoniously dismissed him. Haunted by the painful memories, Jihan gazed up at the sky, embracing the rain, and pondered his reasons for remaining with Cairo's guild. The story of hero Yu Jihan took an abrupt turn. As the rain persisted and thunder rumbled, it seemed to beckon Jihan to reconsider his path. Startled, Jihan found himself visualizing imaginary grid lines. He delved into his memories of his time with Cairo's guild, and a realization dawned upon him. His unique skills manifested randomly in specific situations. In the week following his expulsion from Cairo's guild, Jihan sought a new guild from the comfort of his home. He sat at his desktop, engrossed in his search until he stumbled upon the Cool Fun Guild. Jihan was taken aback, contemplating the potential outcome if he joined their ranks. The probability of Cool Fun becoming a prominent guild was a staggering 99%. With unwavering focus, he began calculating the chances, witnessing the probabilities unfold through his extraordinary ability. The faces of the Cairo's guild members flashed in his mind, and Jihan made a solemn vow to surpass the achievements of his former guild. Meanwhile, in a room adorned with bookshelves, a couch, and a table littered with instant noodle cups, a woman sat facing her desktop, sighing in frustration. She lamented the power outage that occurred just as she was about to pour water into her instant noodles. As she stared at her darkened screen, the door suddenly burst open, startling her. Yu Jihan, drenched in sweat and panting heavily, uttered the name Cool Fun and declared his intention to join their guild. The woman, taken aback, mumbled about guild membership. While she remained dazed, Jihan collapsed onto the floor, seemingly losing consciousness. Panicked, the woman questioned what had transpired and attempted to rouse Jihan. Jihan eventually regained consciousness, sitting up and trying to make sense of the situation. As he surveyed his surroundings, the woman approached him, inquiring about his well-being and explaining the recent events. She introduced herself as Kim Sihu, the master of the Cool Fun Guild, and offered Jihan a cup of coffee. Sihu mentioned that Jihan had been unconscious for approximately an hour and addressed him by name. Jihan, massaging his head, asked Sihu how she knew his identity. Sihu presented his Cairo's ID, which she had discovered. Curiosity piqued, she questioned why someone from such a prestigious corporation would seek to join the Cool Fun Guild. Jihan stood up, bowed respectfully, and expressed his willingness to provide an explanation to Sihu. As he shared his story, Sihu placed both hands on her chest, conveying her understanding of his predicament. However, she pointed out that given Jihan's experience, he could easily find a place in another major guild. She struggled to comprehend his specific desire to join Cool Fun. Jihan hesitated, contemplating whether they would believe him if he revealed the truth about his enigmatic ability. Noticing Jihan's hesitation, Sihu responded with kindness, acknowledging that there must be a reason he couldn't disclose. She sought to put him at ease by sharing her own story. Removing her headphones, Sihu revealed that she was born to a human and an elf, making her a half-elf. Jihan, astonished by the revelation, repeated the term in disbelief. Sihu recounted that as the incidents of invasions from other worlds to Earth escalated, the existence of various races became common knowledge. Among the most prominent were the elves. She explained that she carried the blood of the elves who had massacred humans. Sihu then posed a question to Jihan, asking if he still wished to join the Cool Fun Guild after learning this information. As they engaged in a mutual gaze, neither willing to look away, Jihan noticed Sihu's trembling hands. He remarked that for someone attempting to intimidate him, her hands were shaking excessively. Jihan assured Sihu that he harbored no prejudice against elves, having encountered them before and recognizing their similarity to humans. With a smile, he added that discriminating against someone based on their race was an act reserved for the lowest of individuals. Sihu was taken aback by Jihan's words, her eyes welling up with tears as she expressed her gratitude for their conversation that day. She assured him that his application would be reviewed favorably and he would receive a response in due course. As they exchanged thanks, a sudden diamond-like light appeared, startling them both. Sihu pondered the unexpected activation of the Florin, the spirit self that had been dormant for 12 years. She wondered what had prompted its movement at that particular moment. The spirit self drifted towards Jihan's head, leaving him perplexed and inquiring about its nature. Sihu, realizing the impending contact, cried out in an attempt to stop the spirit. However, her efforts were in vain. The spirit self scattered, its light emanating outside and reaching towards the sky. Inside the headquarters, Sihu found herself on the floor, stunned by the outcome of Sittel's interaction with Jihan. Meanwhile, Jihan examined his hand, puzzled by the recent events. The hero, Yu Jihan, had been expelled from his party, but he had become one of only 20 individuals worldwide to possess a scarce class. As he clenched his fists, he assumed the role of the spirit summoner. Following Jihan's contact with the spirit self, a new type of hero emerged, those capable of communicating with special beings and harnessing their powers. These individuals were known as Elementalists, an exceptionally rare class. Elementalists were active across the globe, each wielding power equivalent to that of an entire guild. They were regarded as extraordinary beings, including Luca Harrison, the Elementalist of Mist, Malosi Soifua, the Elementalist of the Sea, and Abubakar, the Elementalist of Sand. The events that unfolded on that day transformed Jihan into a new extraordinary being, and he was bestowed the title of the Elementalist of the Wind. In the aftermath of the incident at Honey Jam, Jihan and Sihu had settled into their new reality. Sihu, now seated, sipped her coffee while Jihan stood, seeking confirmation that he had indeed formed a contract with the spirit. Sihu affirmed his understanding, explaining that the wind spirit, known as the Self, had previously been contracted to her late mother. Jihan, in a state of panic, suggested returning the spirit to Sihu and proposed canceling the contract. However, Sihu, in the midst of her coffee, informed him that it was too late. Once a spirit chose a master, it was not easily changed. She mentioned that the contract could only be terminated upon the contractor's death, causing Jihan to nervously swallow and inquire about his next course of action. Sihu questioned Jihan's intentions, asking if he planned to abandon the guild after passing the test. She rose to her feet, meeting Jihan's gaze at eye level. Without hesitation, Jihan firmly declared that he had no intention of joining any guild other than Honey Jam. Upon hearing his response, Sihu's cheeks flushed, and she fought the urge to smile, commenting that Jihan had good taste. She reached out to take his hand, assuring him that she would gradually teach him how to harness the power of the spirit. Jihan, however, had a different opinion and expressed his desire to proceed directly to the test. A green light suddenly appeared beside Sihu, startling her and causing her eyes to widen as she focused intently on something. As Jihan interacted with the spirit, he mumbled about the monster area, commonly referred to as Ma. These specific zones were classified from grade 5 to grade 1, with higher grades indicating stronger monsters. The two ventured outside the Honey Jam headquarters, heading towards the grade 5 monster area in Buchan. Jihan observed Sihu's uneasy demeanor as she glanced back and forth, prompting him to inquire if there was an issue. Sihu hesitated before admitting that it was her first time in Nenma since her Hero Academy training. Jihan was taken aback by this revelation and questioned why she hadn't mentioned it before their arrival in Buchan. Sihu, feeling embarrassed as the guild master, remained silent. Jihan reassured her, stating that he would take the lead. As they stepped into the Ma, they were greeted by a scene of severe destruction. Buildings had collapsed, and the air felt suffocating. Jihan asked the guild master about the type of monster they might encounter. Sihu consulted her phone and, after a moment, informed him that cacatris was the monster appearing in Buchan. She described it as a massive bird with a powerful beak and keen eyes. Sihu shared a recent news report from 2 weeks prior, mentioning that a truck transporting tricks had overturned near Buchan, leading to the current situation. Jihan appeared fascinated and began to withdraw his sword from his back. He glanced at the guild master and remarked that it would serve as a suitable practice opponent. At that moment, he perceived Buchan as a battlefield where blood could splatter and flesh could be torn at any instant. He recalled the strategies employed by his previous guild, recognizing the need to act as both the dealer and the tank. Sihu, flustered, quickly motioned for him to be quiet. She sensed something in the parking lot, and both of them became alert as they spotted the cacatris. The creature's beak held a body, with the head visible. It was identified as a grade 5 monster. The cacatris noticed their presence and suddenly turned its attention towards them, causing them to freeze in fear. Jihan instructed the guild master to provide support from the rear. The creature swiftly took flight, rapidly approaching them. Jihan raised his sword in defense, a smile of satisfaction on his face as he called out to the guild master. Sihu had already unleashed the power of the Florin, and she was astonished by its capabilities. Jihan deftly dodged the wind's power, while the guild master aimed directly at the cacatris, successfully defeating it. The grade 5 monster was scorched and charred by the wind's might. Jihan commended the guild master, acknowledging her skill. Sihu proudly declared that she was the top graduate of the Hero Academy. However, as they conversed, Sihu's expression turned to one of alarm as she noticed numerous monsters behind Jihan. When Jihan turned to face the potential attack, his right eye turned green, activating his skill. Grid lines appeared, and 3 warning signs hovered above the cacatris head. As the sampling system continuously searched and calculated the possibilities, Jihan announced, "Evade path search." The system indicated an 82% evasion probability if he crouched. Without hesitation, he followed the system's guidance and successfully dodged the cacatris attack. He raised his palm, summoning the spirit, and commanded it to hasten. His attack swiftly beheaded the 3 cacatrises, separating their body parts. The guild master witnessed Jihan's actions in disbelief, marveling at his proficiency with the silk despite having awakened only a day prior. She pondered what kind of individual he truly was. Jihan approached the guild master, and along the way, the foot of a bird was visible. A colossal creature had emerged in Buchan. Simultaneously, Jihan embraced the guild master, inquiring about her well-being. Sihu responded affirmatively. Both of them heard the monster's presence and became alert. Sihu questioned why such a formidable monster would appear in a level 5 Ma. Jihan realized that it could be a mutant, an evolved form of the cactutress. The mutant had grown significantly larger than its original size and possessed an unknown level. Jihan activated his skill once more, calculating the probabilities. The system notified him that their chance of victory was a mere 12%. After a thorough scan, he identified a potentially vulnerable spot on the mutant. He asked the guildmaster if she could restrain the cactutress movement. Sihu, startled, replied that she could, albeit only briefly. Jihan assured her that it would suffice and began approaching the mutant. The cactutress advanced towards Jihan, taking flight as he ran along the road. At Jihan's command, Sihu unleashed her power the instant he shouted. Her ability, known as Slow Wind, manifested as a purple aura, enveloping the mutant and temporarily halting its movement as Jihan dashed forward. Just as he was about to strike, the restraining force dissipated, and the mutant opened its beak, swallowing Jihan whole. In that moment, Jihan recalled the words of Hyun-Ti, who had labeled him as useless. As the mutant closed its beak, something extraordinary began to unfold within. Red grid lines appeared on the mutant's face, and a green light emanated from inside its beak. Jihan unleashed his power, known as Wind Cut, causing the mutant's head to shatter into square fragments that scattered across the area. He then emerged from the mutant's remains. Unbeknownst to them, someone observed their actions from a rooftop, amused by the presence of another spirit master in Korea beside himself. He was Hyun-Du-Ha, the Earth Spirit Master. In another part of the monster area, Gyeonggi-do Hysong Level 2 Ma, the destruction was equally severe. Cars and buses lay in ruins, crushed by fallen buildings. Bricks and dust blanketed the entire area, and the air felt suffocating. The sound of grunting could be heard from a vast, red monster with razor-sharp claws. Young-ho from Cairo's guild demanded the red monster's attention. With two fists bumped together, he activated his skill, Taunt. As the red monster launched its attack, Young-ho met it head-on. Despite his efforts, Young-ho's power began to wane, and he called out to Si-yeon, the mage of Cairo Guild, urging her to hurry as he struggled to hold on. Si-yeon, positioned behind Young-ho, responded affirmatively. Her eyes glowed yellow as she unleashed her chain lightning power, directing it straight at the red monster. The lightning engulfed the creature's entire body, causing the surroundings to scatter with its force. Satisfied with the outcome, Si-yeon boasted about her prowess, mocking Young-ho for making a fuss over such small fries. Young-ho, provoked, retorted that he had nearly been caught in the lightning as well. Si-yeon nonchalantly replied that it was why she had told him to lose weight. Young-ho let the comment slide and ordered Si-yeon to retreat. However, his expression turned worried as he noticed something alarming. He shouted at Si-yeon to watch her back. To their surprise, the enormous red monster had survived and loomed behind Si-yeon. Confused by its resilience, Si-yeon unconsciously uttered Jihan's name, pleading for his assistance. Her eyes widened in realization that Jihan was no longer with them. Just as she was about to be caught, someone swiftly intervened, slicing through the giant red monster and rescuing Si-yeon. It was Hyun-Ti. They engaged in a fierce battle with the enormous red monster until all the creatures were vanquished. Exhausted, Si-yeon and Young-ho leaned against a wall for support. Gasping for air, Si-yeon exclaimed that she couldn't endure any longer. Young-ho, recognizing the unusual nature of their opponents, concluded that they were facing mutants. Si-yeon expressed uncertainty, stating that the monsters weren't particularly strange. They both turned their attention to Hyun-Ti, who remarked that those monsters were merely ordinary giant worms. With a clenched fist, he smashed it against the wall, questioning why they struggled against such creatures. Young-ho and Si-yeon attempted to calm their leader and justify their earlier actions.